What is up, guys? Welcome back. Today I have fucking clean the pen. What is up, guys? Welcome back. Today I'm doing a level 100 PvP Feral Druid guide. Um, and as you know, Warlords was just dropped, or a week ago. Great fun. Getting to 100 is a breeze. I recommend that you do the quests and you enjoy them. Don't just power level to 100. You have plenty of time to play max level content. But once you get there, this guide's definitely going to show you a thing or two. So let's jump right in, and we'll start off with the spec. Spec is Feral. As you all know in the previous guides and whatever, Feral is a cat form. You rake and bleed people. If you never played Feral before, then this is what Feral does. You pretty much have a cat form ability. Turns you into a cat and increases movement speed by 30%, protection from polymorph, and frees the caster from movement bearing effects when you shift, and that other bit there is a glyph I'll get to later. These are your main abilities, which is Rip, Shred, and Ravage, Savage Roar, and you will also have another one called Rake, but that's not on the list, and those are your main abilities. Apart from that, let's go to talents. The talent on the first tier I would recommend would be Wild Charge. This is just due to the fact that it has 5 different effects, depending on what form you're in, and the fact that it has a leap behind the target in cat form, and a charge in bear form is ridiculously amazing. The leap in travel form helps you get away from things faster sometimes. And the non-ship shifted form, which is when you fly to your ally's position, is really good for just dropping form and getting to your healer so they can get the life-saving heals on you. Definitely one I recommend, and the only other one on there that would probably be viable would be Feline Swiftness, but even then, this is definitely the one I would recommend. On the second tier, I would recommend Cenarian Horde, and it does piece together with another talent later on. So there are 2 options. The 2 options, this one is obviously Cenarian Horde, and the other one I would recommend would be Zera's Gift. This one's just a passive healing of 4% every 5 seconds, and if it doesn't heal you, because you're full health, you'll heal someone else. So that's always good that it's still constantly going full time. The other one, Cenarian Ward, is one that you put on for yourself. It's got a 30-second duration. Once it's activated, it has a 6-second duration, and it heals you for, as it says, there's 40k there every 2 seconds for 6 seconds. So you get 3 heals out of that. So you get about 120k unbuffed from the stats and whatever, which is really good. Seeming I've only got about 200k outside of a PvP scene at the moment, and that's definitely like a bursting heal where Sarah's Gift more of a consistent heal over time. On the third level, I would recommend Typhoon. This is just my personal preference. I like having the daze and the knock away. It also gets people out of stealth a lot good. It gets people out of stealth really well, and so if you know where the rogue's going to be, or druid or whatever else is stealth, like priests when they use their what's it called, guys or whatever, it's really good to getting them out and sometimes getting lucky. It's also good as another interrupt if your drops on cooldown. The other one I would recommend would be the Fairy Swarm, and it's pretty much just an improved version of the Fairy Fire spell we have. But what it does is it adds a movement speed of 50% reduction for 15 seconds, and the Fairy Fire is only a 6-second cooldown, I believe. Yep, 6-second cooldown. And yeah, so it replaces Fairy Fire. So that's another one that's really good for probably melee cleaves where you're getting away from warriors, no charges, stuff like that, or you want to catch up to the people, keep them slowed constantly. It's really good. On the 60 tier, Force of Nature used to be pretty good, and it's kind of dropped off now. So the one I would recommend, Soul Forest is crap. The one I recommend is Incarnation King of the Jungle, and it's pretty much just empowers your cat form, gives your rake ability a stun, and it pretty much just allows you to use whatever spells you would be outside of in stealth, outside of stealth. Um, yeah, it's great. It's awesome. It, like I said, it gives you a stun on the rake like you do usually, and also when you look at your shred ability, it increases your damage by 35% and doubles the crit chance, and you do 20% increased damage against bleeding targets just by shred being stealthed. So when incarnation is active, you do gain that bonus of the extra damage on shred. So you do have a lot of burst damage and a lot of increased bleed damage on that from as well. Now the next one, 75 tier, there's 2 options. There's Incapacitating Roar, which is pretty much just a daze or a blind for 3 seconds, but it's on a 30-second cooldown, and that's why I like it. And you can use it in all forms. And then the other one you have is Mighty Bash, and that's on a 50-second cooldown, but it's a 5-second stun. Also usable in all forms. Depends what you want to go with. If you want to go for the AoE interrupt on multiple targets or the single target stun for trying to get the healer kill or whatever. It's completely up to you. Like obviously you can mess around with your playstyles, whether you want to be a cleave or a single target druid. Um, and they're both very viable. I've seen both of them work very well. Incapacitating role is just my preference. Now this is the other tier I was telling you about, which ties into the Cenarion Ward. So I have Heart of the Wild with Cenarion Ward and with Ysera's Gift. I'll get to that later. So with Heart of the Wild, what it does is it dramatically improves your ability outside of your role. So as Feral, you will have improved tanking, improved damage with spells, and improved healing for 45 seconds. And if you were Boomkin, you'd have increased cat form, increased tanking, and increased healing. And if you were heals, you'd have increase in all the DPS specs. So it's whatever your spec you're not, you have improved ability in those other specs. So basically this is just used for what I use it for, is healing. You pop this, 45 seconds of improved healing. It's almost about 100%. You used to say that before the patch. Doesn't say that now, but 100%. So use this with pop that, then Cenarion Ward, and Cenarion Ward gets activated instantly if you have dots on you or you get hit. So that goes from 40k up to 80k, which means you're not doing 120, you're doing 240k heals, which is pretty close outside of a BG scenario. That's my full health pool. And inside of the PG scenario I have about 300k, so it's pretty much close to about 35% of your HP with that burst healing. This is the two talents I would recommend if you were going in a double DPS comp in Arena, or if you were just going into like a standard BG. It definitely boosts your survivability and it gives you like a no shit button, if you could call it that. It just gives you a way to live longer and hopefully get the kill. And the other downfall is it's on a 6-minute cooldown, so you can use Scenario Mode outside of that. It just won't be like a fucking lay on hands without it. The other one you could recommend, I would recommend, not you, would be Dream of Scenarios with Ysera's Gift. So the Ysera's Gift increases your passive, or gives you passive healing, and Dream of Scenarios, what it does is it's also like a passive consistent heals. So what it does is increase your healing you gain or receive from Healing Touch and Rejuvenation by 20%. But also, if you use either of those on another target, you get it on yourself as well. So that's really good just for healing out your normal BG people or your other partners in your arena. It's a consistent self-mitigated average heal. You know, it's consistent, it's not bursty, it's just there and it's good, and it probably takes the edge over a lot of other things, and it's probably going to give you a kill a lot of the time, just due to the fact that you have consistent healing. Those are the two I'd recommend. Nature's Vigil used to have a damage increase as well, which actually used to make it reasonably viable, but they removed that, and so now all it does is heals you on the base damage you do, which is pretty much just turned into the new Warrior's Second Wind. Not so good. Not going to save your life at all. It's kind of like the Shaman one, so unless you have a decent health pool already, it's not going to do much. And now, this is the important part, the new talents, level 100. I have mucked around with Lunar Inspiration a little bit, and I just find it's not as good. It's just due to the fact that it costs 30 energy, where, it's only one combo point, guaranteed, never going to be a 2 combo point. It's 30 energy. You could rake or shred for 35 or 40, and you have a much higher chance of getting 2 combo points out of that. So I've mucked around with it. I just don't like how it feels. It's good to have a range, but it's not that good, in my opinion. The other one is Blood Talents. Healing Touch increases your next 2 melee abilities to do 30% additional damage. Now it's not bad if you're gonna Healing Touch, save up your energy, and then smash out 2 shreds. 30% increased damage on your shred. Definitely a good idea. It's more of a, like I was saying before, it's more of a consistent buff that you don't have to worry about. I'm spamming Healing Touches constantly. Every 5 combo points you get a free Healing Touch, and Rejuve is currently like out of control. Seeming that we have the passive now, where we can use Rejuvenation within cat form. So it's good, just not my playstyle at all. The other one there is Claws of Shrivala, which is what I've chosen, and which one I would probably recommend, just due to the fact that I believe I've seen it doing a little bit more damage and a little bit more utility from this talent. So it basically says that druids have gained the ability to transform into half cat, half human, And what this does is it allows you to cast non-damaging druid spells while in cat form, and increases versatility by 5%. So even if we didn't have that passive we did before of the rejuvenation while in cat form, we would still be able to use it now. The other thing we can do is we can also cast a healing touch when it's not procced in cat form. We can cast Cyclone in cat form. We can cast Entangling Roots in cat form. So any non-damaging and druid ability that we can utilize for utility, CC, whatever, we can use that in cat form now. And the good thing about this is that when you drop out of cat form in an arena or BG, and I can see you casting, there's only one of two things it's going to be: a Cyclone or a Healing Touch. So pretty much when you drop out of a cat form in any sort of scenario, they know that they're going to muster up their group and try and interrupt you and burst you down. And so this is really good. You stay in cat form, you can be casting anything. There's about 6 or 7 spells I can see on my bars right now. Oh, excuse me, that you can cast right now in cat form, and it's definitely very handy. And the versatility plus 5% just directly correlates to the damage. Your versatility increases damage and healing done by the percentage, and decreases damage taken by half the percentage that you have. So the extra 5% while in cat form versatility means you're doing 5% more damage, you're doing 5% more healing, so you're going to be living longer and surviving longer, and you're actually taking from that talent alone 2.5% less damage. Now that doesn't sound like much, but it's obviously going to matter. It's obviously going to come into play eventually or somewhere, and that's why I've chosen it, and that's why I would recommend it. So let's just move on to glyphs. These are the glyphs I would recommend. Obviously you can muck around with lots of glyphs. There's new glyphs, old glyphs, there's all these other glyphs you can add in there. These are just ones I'm feeling comfortable with and the ones I would recommend. So the first one is Glyph of Cat Form. It's a no-brainer. 20% increased healing done to you by 20% while in cat form. And this is just all sources, not just yourself. So if you have a healer, whatever, you're getting 20% with more heals, and it just makes sense. The other one is Rake, and this one, it doesn't look like a good one, and it doesn't look like it better than most of the other ones. But the increased 8 yards of your Rake opener stun while Prowl is active, obviously, so your opener, is amazing, and it's really good just to get those, that rogues that don't stealth instantly. They run out the mounts to get the distance, and then jump and stealth in mid arena. You could get lucky and get one of these because you have that distance of getting them before they stealth, or just people trying to run away. Sometimes you'll never get close enough into melee range just because they're mounted or something like that, and you've got 8 yards on your side. So it's a great talent. I've seen it used so many times, and it's really, really good. The other one is Glyph of Savage Roar. So whenever you Rake or Shred while prowling, and that does activate while in Incarnation, it grants you Savage Roar as if you were used by 5 combo points, which I believe is a 42 second duration. So you're getting 42 seconds of Savage Roar as soon as you open every time. It means it's just one less thing you have to do during your rotation. It's one less thing you have to do to maintain. It's 42 seconds. If you can't get another Savage Roar up in 42 seconds, there's something wrong. The fact that it's free, it doesn't cost you anything, no energy, it just comes with your first Rake. Amazing. And while you're in your Incarnation, it makes sure that you have your 40% increased damage buff up at all times. You cannot lose that in Incarnation. You'd have to be auto-attacking to lose it. So the other 3, the minor ones, they're all personal preference. I've got the Cheetah because I liked the Cheetah from before it was changed. I have the Aquatic form because I seem to utilize the increased movement speed quite a lot in Aquatic form. And the other one is Grace, so you take reduced damage while falling, well, even not in cat form. So if for some reason you have to jump off a cliff in Lubber Mill, or whatever other reason you have to fall for a certain distance, and you're not at full health already, you can probably pop a heal mid fall, and this means you'll take less damage regardless of whether you're in cat form or not. The one last thing I want to go over is the stats for Feral Druids. Now, there doesn't seem to be much difference in the stats. Obviously there's new stats added and they all benefit, but Mastery is still our primary stat as a Feral Druid. The bleed damage from Mastery is uncanny. You can't replace it anywhere. It's amazing. The higher Mastery you have, the higher damage you'll be doing. Just passively, it's just going to happen as long as you maintain your bleeds on the target. But obviously the multi-strikes and versatility, they'll come in. So The secondary stats, so mastery to primary, and then all the secondary stats I would go for would be crit or multi-strike would be my two choices. Versatility, I'm not probably going to be specking into that. It's good, but the multi-strike option is looking really sweet at the moment. And obviously crit is crit. You know, if you're going to get a crit, that's pretty much what kills people. You know, great little grey damage is fine, but the crits are what make people scared. Um, that's about it, guys. Thank you for watching, and I hope you like this Feral guide. If you did, leave a like and comment. And if you're interested in some other stuff I've got on my channel, I do Feral Druid videos. I'll be doing some arena soon when the season starts on December 2nd. Get you guys ready to go. Then subscribe to my channel. Feel free. I love the support. I'll answer to any comments that are posted on my videos. Leave a comment on your feedback or whatever. No rush. And give a like if you like the video, guys. I'll see you next time. Bye.